All right, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. I noticed that a lot of my content, there's a lot of like negativity about like cooks and chefs. Like I talk about like toxic work environment and being a cook isn't for everybody. So what I wanted to do today is kind of go over some signs of how you're being set up for a leadership position and how your boss is taking a liking to you. And knowing these signs will be important because some people get discouraged if, say, their boss is hard on them. But are they being a micromanager or are they preparing you for the next step? So let's go over a few of those today. So the first one is they have high standards for you. They don't accept mediocrity from you the way they might accept it from somebody else. They hold you to a higher standard. They expect more from you. Some people could say that this could come off as being a micromanager, but there is a big difference between being a toxic boss and a micromanager and trying to set somebody up for success and for a future leadership position. So the difference is there is a sense of empowerment and giving you the reins, giving you control. They might ask you, well, what would you do in this situation? That will be one of the big difference. A micromanager likes to lord things over you and their focus is around control and power. Whereas a leader that is trying to get you into a bigger, better position or thinks that they see something in you, they see some potential in you, they empower you, they encourage you to grow, they push you to be more than what you are. And in order to do that, they sometimes have to show tough love. They can't hold your hand. You're getting to a point now where you've been cooking long enough that you should know how to do the basics, and they're trying to kind of push you towards things. Another sign that they're trying to see if you're ready for a leadership position is they might start asking you about, they might bring you in on some of the internal things going on. They might give you hypotheticals about interpersonal conflict, or they might throw something at you about a guest or a customer. There might be a problem that they would be dealing with. Say they're having a difficulty with a tasting, a wedding, a couple came in and they have some demands and they're outside of the scope of what we normally do. There was going to be this tasting and there was this kind of like, it was some kind of heritage event, right? And they actually wanted a bunch of meat pies. I've never made meat pies before. This was in 2015 or something, 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. They, like, when I say meat pies, I'm talking like pies that use like lamb and a mixture of fruits with meat and very, very like European meat pies. I've never made that stuff before in my life. I've never used lamb in a pie before. And they wanted me to make these pies for a tasting, and I did it, and they loved them. And I'm pretty sure that recipe is still being used to this day. And I was really proud of myself. I was really happy that I did it. But they weren't just asking me to do it like, hey, I want you in on this project, go do this thing. It was a test. It was like, can you handle this new situation? Can you handle this unique thing that I'm throwing at you? So it was seasoned lamb, and it had stuff like cinnamon and mace and some kind of dehydrated fruit. If you have any meat pie recipes, put them down below. Another one is they might have you give feedback on hiring positions. So we lost our executive chef over at Sodexo years back. This was the same place that had the meat pie tasting. We lost our executive chef, and the director pulled me into the office. He had me look over the resumes of the executive chefs and tell him what I thought of the executive chefs that had applied. And there was like 4 of them. Then when he had some of them come in, I'm sure that he took my opinion, but didn't like base all of his decisions off my opinion. He just wanted to see what I would say. So there was these 4 executive chefs. I told him what I thought about them. And then he had them all come in to do kind of a personal tasting, mystery mask, whatever you want to call it. Like, he had to come in, make an appetizer, an entree, stuff like that, kind of explain like what he does and his concepts and whatever. There was some chefs that came in and they were hot garbage. They came in, they left a mess. They didn't clean up after themselves. Their food was, I mean, it was food. Like it was edible, it was food. My mentality for a chef is I want somebody that can teach me things and that's always been the case. I want somebody better than me that can show me things. I don't want somebody that's my equal because then I may as well just do it, right? I want somebody that can show me how to do this stuff. This one dude came in, he was actually subbed to the channel. His name was Kevin. Kevin was badass. And this dude got under my skin sometimes. He irritated the fuck out of me. But I didn't realize he was pushing me to be better than I was. I made some sauce that I was super proud of and he was like, the fuck? It tastes good, but this is not the sauce that you're saying it is. This is how you make this sauce. This is what your sauce has. This is what you need to do to change. And like the dude just knew shit, right? And he made these, I still remember, it was they're kind of like summer rolls, but he used like cucumbers to do it, whatever. Awesome food, cleaned up after himself, held himself in a professional way, wasn't afraid to speak his mind, wasn't afraid to like say, this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. A new environment, new kitchen, you know, and he found his way around. He asked for a couple things here and there, but like he knew what he was doing. This dude, Kevin, he was super good. And there was this other guy, he was really good, but he wanted way too much money and he was just not the right fit. But it wasn't that he was bad. Sometimes, you know, you're looking for a spade and you get a club and, you know, clubs are great, but you really want a spade. And Kevin was that spade. He taught me a lot. And he's one of the first people that I realized that sometimes the boss being a jerk isn't them doing it for power and control. It's actually to like show you things and to get you better. And I grew a lot because of him. The plating, my plating improved, my cooking techniques improved, and I got a thicker skin because, like I said, he's not afraid to be like, that tastes like, you know, make it again or change it. Way too much garlic. What did you use? What did you use for Alfredo? Did you use that powdered crap that the last chef had? Or did you use the heavy cream that I bought? You know, what are you doing? Your leader. If you are being prepared to take on a future leadership position, even if it's not with that company, they will tend to show you tough love. They will give you projects that you are unfamiliar with. They will give you things that maybe you've never done before in your life. And messing them up is okay, but they want to see that you are okay with new things, new environments, unfamiliar situations. They will get your advice on hiring decisions. They will ask you about menu concepts, about creating a menu, about specials that you want to run. Why are you going to run those? Why are you pairing this food with this wine? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And they want to have a mechanical understanding of where you're at. And if you're not quite there, but they still think that you can do it, they'll teach you. They will show you and they will mentor you. And that mentorship will start to kind of unfold and take shape. They're not going to come up to you and be like, do you want me to mentor you and show you blah, 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 blah. In most cases, it's just something that kind of happens. They see something in you, like a seed of awesomeness, and they want to water that seed and have it grow into an amazing tree. It makes their day when they find that person, especially if you're that person. From a teacher's standpoint, from somebody that has that teacher's mentality, cooks are a dime a dozen. There's all kinds of cooks. There's cooks that just got the job because they want a paycheck. They're lazy, good for nothing cooks. They end up burning out and leaving anyway, right? There's other cooks that are lifers. They love cooking, but that's all they want to do. If you're noticing a lot of similarities between what I'm saying, chefs are looking for and the way they act and how you're being treated. So this is the other side of it. This is the teaching side, the learning side, the non-toxic side, and the awesome side. So if you're dealing with something right now, if you're stressed out right now and you feel like the chef is putting a lot of stress and pressure on you, you can kind of get this sense that it's not coming from this negative, awful place. One thing to consider is that it's very possible that they see something in you that maybe you don't even see yet, and you're better than you think. But otherwise, if you have any questions, comments, and concerns, leave them down in the comments below. I will read them, answer them, or may even make a video on them. But otherwise, y'all have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.